That's the music. And now we're here. They can see us.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back
Out of
to
practice.
NookTalk. Zach, we're back.
It's been so long. I want to know, are you married? Do you have kids? Have you moved?
My kids are in college. So
Gosh,
yeah.
it feels like it's been that long.
They're doing big
feels like
things.
It's been that long. I hope everyone appreciates the music, by the way. That's me putting in the extra effort for the first time, giving a little tunes to start this fine Friday. It is a good day because this is an episode where we actually have an update to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it happen. Sacrificial teeth made it happen. You're welcome, Pat and Pat's Army. Thank you all.
I'm impressed with the recovery time. Your boy was rhyming a day later.
Here's the deal. There were different things being told. I knew that my wisdom teeth were all the way in and just needed to come out because they're causing some issues with the teeth next to them. But I think any time you go in for wisdom teeth extraction, they have to give you the whole spiel of like, do you want to be put under? Do you not? This could cause nerve damage. There's going to be this recovery. Here's an ice pack. And it ended up like very simple extractions. So they're like sore, but I'm good. I had a salad today. I'm good. I'm good to go. They're just a little tender, but it wasn't. People were like, you shouldn't be making videos on pain medication. I was like, I'm not on pain medication. We're all good. This is a lot more low key than I expected.
Someone call an ambulance.
I have a big. The doctor said I don't want to be rude, but he said you have a very big mouth, so this isn't going to be that difficult.
Wow.
I said, all right. Well, I do talk for a living, so it makes sense.
Wow. You should have insulted him back. Should be like, well, you smell or something like that.
Yeah, he actually did my brother's wisdom teeth last month, so little family connection. Didn't want to upset the guy that's about to take forceps and literally rip the teeth from my mouth. Imagine that. Like, this dude's job many times a day is to go into like poor innocent mouths and just like there's a little bit of sadistic something going on there. Might be serial killer behavior or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little odd.
Real quick before we start, Stacy with the 10 says, I don't want to be the miserable depressive in here tonight. And bring you all down. I'll be here quietly. Whoa. Hey, I'll be here quietly watching in between the tears.
Oh.
We gotta get hearts for Stacy.
Oh, I'm
Stacy,
sorry.
I hope you're doing well.
I thought she was gonna say that the
update sucked or something.
I'm sorry, Stacy. Much love.
Yeah, I had to stop you there.
Thanks, gosh.
Okay, so obviously, if you're new to the channel, this is a live podcast, guys. This isn't a pre-recorded thing. There's some confusion there. Zach and I are going to be talking about the latest update. There's a poll going on in the chat. I already put a poll on Twitter, so we'll compare notes there. 1.11 came, Zach, and I got to say, we'll just start right away. It was weird. It was a weird announcement, Zach. They posted a picture.
Yeah.
They posted 2 tweets. No link.
The weirdest thing is they did do the blog post for the US eventually, but just not on that day. Like, Japan got a blog post as we've got the last 2 updates, 1.9 and 1.10. The West did not get a blog post, and then it did get a blog post, but initially it was just, it was a tweet. It was like, all we got for you is a photo, which didn't even show the new stuff. Like, that was the bare minimum that they could have possibly put out. And if it wasn't for that Japanese blog, man, I think we would have walked in expecting literally nothing.
The tweet literally said, a free update for Animal Crossing New Horizons arrives on July 29th. Please ensure you have updated to the latest version to enjoy the upcoming weekly fireworks show and seasonal items. That's it. And like, that's what I woke up to. And I was about to go to bed, but then I read the comments and there was like some links in there. Well, let's just go over. There's a lot to go over, Zach. I don't know what we should. But anyway, let's go over like what was in there. Then we'll go over that like infamous second tweet.
Okay.
So basically, this was expected. So the firework event essentially got 3 new items from Red. We got the food items, the cotton candy, boba, and popsicle. What's your favorite out of those 3?
Oh, it's got to. Well, the boba is the best item, but I do like that he actually munches on the cotton candy, or he or she, your villager.
Yeah, that was cool.
But I like that there's 5 flavors. Like, that's a lot. I didn't expect there to be so many.
So that was it. And then literally like 2 seasonal items that you can order. Cucumber something.
You were hating on these. These are fantastic items. Playing with your food.
I wasn't hating on them, but like waking up and seeing those 2 items after months of guys, come on, you gotta.
What I love,
sympathize with me a little.
In your video, you're like, cucumber horse eggplant cow, and then you're like, and they're supposed to take the dead back to their house.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Pat.
I offended millions of people, and I do apologize. But yeah, I mean, besides that, it was like those 3 food items, some seasonal items, and that was it. And like,
Right.
man, what are your just initial thoughts?
On
But
just
that's
that?
it. Just that. After months of waiting.
Depression. I mean, no, like it. I said it in my video. If there was not a pandemic, my video would have been a rant. It would have been cracking the cartridge in half, sending it back to Nintendo, and asking, for them to never talk to me again. Because the only way that this update makes even an ounce of sense is the fact that there's a pandemic. So I guess like I had that in the back of my head, and I was like, okay, I guess this isn't the one. But I also was bleeding a lot at that time, so it was, it was blunted. The impact was blunted by the fact that I was dealing with my own troubles.
You were delusional.
No,
you were seeing 3 Brewsters.
I just had gauze in my mouth, and then I made the video.
He was flirting with the nurse. You guys should have seen him. He was a mess. He was a mess.
Although she did say, "Do you want a rinse?" And I was so nervous at the time. I was like, "Yeah." And I was thinking it was like a dental rinse where they like squirt the water in your mouth and then you swallow it. And she gave me a cup, and I was like, "Just drink it." She's like, "No, spit it out." And I was like, "Just spit it out." And she's like, "No, back in the cup." And I was like, "Oh." And she's like, "I got another tough task for you," and just making fun of me because I was all nervous.
That's so funny.
Struggle busing.
So we got those items. However, we then play it, right? Well, you didn't stream it. I streamed it, and then you were kind of discovering it.
Yes.
Nintendo threw a curveball. They added in Halloween items, Zach. Okay? And I'm Mr. Jack Skellington here. Like, I love it, okay? I was looking forward to this in January, all right? They added in 3 Halloween items. We got the little pail that we can hold, the tree, and a lantern that, like, opens up.
Right. That one's the coolest, I think. I love that
That
one.
was cool. Yeah, the customizations. So
Yes.
they added those, and then there was also some other things being data mined that aren't in the game yet, but there's a Day of the Dead item. There's
Cool
lanterns
lanterns,
for St. Martin's Day that you can carry around. So, I mean, and people that watched me in the stream, I went crazy over the Halloween items. But now looking back, we have 3 Halloween items, and we're not sure, like, do you think we're going to get anything else from Halloween? No. Yeah,
No.
okay, that's what I'm thinking, like 90%. But I will say that Halloween is one of the few holidays that you actually got event exclusive DIY. So there is still a chance, I guess.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting that there was such an emphasis on holdable or carryable items. I wonder if that was just, happenstance, or if that was a response to fan requests. A lot of people wanted, like, hey, how come our villagers can eat food and chill and, sit and do so much and we can't? Because all 3 fireworks items are holdable. The little basket is holdable. The lantern is holdable. It's a lot of holdable items.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of confusion right now because in the initial blog post, let's see. Yaynard, thank you so much. Real quick, I logged in the game today and didn't see any news items. Do I have to time travel to October? Yeah, you need to go to October for the Halloween items.
Or the fireworks stuff will be tomorrow. Or Sunday,
Yeah.
sorry. Sunday.
Every Sunday in August, you'll get the fireworks stuff.
August 1st.
There's some confusion, though, because the original blog post on Nintendo Japan they did their schedule thing again, which is true.
Right.
Trust Switch Force. You went all the way to... They listed things for September 30th. So the things that we have now data mined, the carnations... Is it carnation? Marigold. The marigold stuff and the lanterns... Those are in November, so where do we go from here, Zach? Do you think there's another update at the end of September where these event items end, or do you think because we're getting October, November items, is it later?
Well, if we want to go pattern-based, the way that it worked this time was not the absolute end of the seasonal events, but the last one that began. So Cowboy Festival began, and that's continuing to run, and Nintendo was ready for the next update. So I believe it's actually September 15th or 21st. 21st? It's one of the two that is where the last seasonal event begins. I don't know that we'd have to wait till the 30th. I don't think that the Halloween items have any relation to their schedule for the next update. I think Nintendo did not mention the Bunny Day items in their blog post back in March. I think this is just their way of like, hey, they don't need to announce that Halloween happens, that Bunny Day happens. They just are adding those items. So to me, I don't think there's any correlation between the Halloween items and the next update. I'm much more reliant on that schedule that I believe we should just pull it up. I think it's the 15th, the 21st.
I think the last thing that I saw was it ended September 30th.
It ends, but when does it begin? Because that is what they went off of for this one.
I think it was like August 5th, wasn't it?
This
time. August.
Okay, so for 1.11, let's see. Yes. Okay, so this is the American site, and there's not even as many there. Where is the dang Japanese blog? It's so weird to me that like they don't coordinate these things. You know, like why are they not coordinating? Why isn't the same person? Why aren't they having some correspondence? I will pull it up for us briefly here.
Because we can trust these. That's why we're emphasizing these so much. Because
I am. So as this translates itself, loved your pronunciation, by the way.
I try.
September 12th. Okay, so they go the 12th to the 21st. Grape Harvest is September 1st to September 30th. But again, if we're going based on what happened last time, it would be the 12th that is the new cutoff date. The last one that begins. So the 12th is anytime after that to me is fair game for the next content.
Wasn't there something that went to the 30th though?
There is, but again, I'm not looking at what goes to. I'm going to when the last one begins.
So you think end of September is when we get the next thing?
Yes. Third week of September. And around there.
So talk to me, Zach. What is up with this Halloween stuff? Is it a mistake? Is it not? Because like they added in the Halloween stuff all throughout October. You can go to the store and in the special seasonal section, you can get those items. But you can also go to your villagers and get the DIYs, which I thought was cool.
Right.
But then if you go to Halloween, nothing happens. They're not even dressed up. But Isabel says that there's an event. She literally says, "Welcome to Halloween. The event is going," and then nothing happens. So to me, it's like they wouldn't make that big of a mistake.
No, I don't think. I think they just. I don't know why this was added in. It seems odd, but maybe they had the items done, and so they just figured, hey, let's get them ready. Remember that Nintendo does not advocate or even discuss time travel, really. So in their mind's eye, like, you're not time traveling, so why announce it? Why mention it? I don't think it was a mistake. If it was one item, I'd say, okay, now we could look at this being potentially an error. But all those items, the fact that, like you said, Halloween is still locked. It's not like Halloween was unlocked and, oh, crap, they didn't time lock it and they goofed up. I think this was purposeful, and I think that those items just don't relate to the update. I don't know if you want to get speculative, but it seems like it's lining up for a really September direct type plan for this.
Yeah. You think it would be in the direct?
If that data,
Zach, you're changing your tune.
I'm not changing my tune. I think
you said it would never be in a Nintendo Direct. Because the only reason why the Mario one was because it was Mario.
Yes. So why I'm changing my tune is because their plans have clearly been so messed up that we've basically gone March to September, 6 months without a true update. We've gotten item refreshes, but we haven't got a true update that really modifies the game. So I think that now kind of the tables have turned. There's now this fervor, right? When I talked about this back in May, it was like, okay, people have waited 60 days. But now it's like Nintendo's ignored Animal Crossing for half the year. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I think that, I will change my tune. I think it could easily show up at the September Direct. And I think that also just lines up nicely. And there's so much riding on this right now. The next update has to be big. They said, please be patient. We can talk about that second tweet. They said new content. Doug Bowser said stuff. So it kind of really leads to like, hey, we're going to bring the big thing. And that to me is like, this is a good moment to announce it to the world.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into like what's next,
yes,
I want to ask the hard hitting question because I put a poll on YouTube like during this live stream. I also put a poll over on Twitter, and they're the same questions.
Yes.
What grade would you give the latest 1.11 ACNH update?
I'm so eager for this.
This update is including
the Halloween stuff,
the firework event and the Halloween event. And you know what? I'll even say the November stuff.
Yeah.
The November items that we're getting. So on YouTube, and I'm about to end it now, 44% said a B letter grade, 34% say C, 14% say A, and 8% say D. Over on Twitter, 40% said C, 36% said B, 16% said D, and 8% said A. So judging by this, people are somewhere around that B and C range.
Yeah.
So Zachariah.
I think this is super interesting because the tides have turned for the fan base. Previously, items were like, remember, you and I would get these arguments where you'd be like, it's an A, the items are awesome. I'd be like, no, it's a C because there's no new
Halloween
features.
was an A. I'll die on that hill.
Right, but now the player base seems to have shifted a little, that items are no longer enough because these items are incredibly cute. Like, I'd say some top 10 items in this one. Like the Halloween stuff, the boba, like there's some top 10 items, but clearly items no longer cut it. Based on what we thought we were getting, I gave it a B because I thought we were getting an F update. And then there was some fun, there was some excitement. We got to have a night of like, holy crap, this is so cool, exploring.
You're factoring in your
Yes.
Okay.
If
so you're saying B.
As a normal update, this is like a D. But because of the fact that, we didn't expect much, and I've talked about it a number of times in sort of my speculative videos and kind of my just Animal Crossing dialogue with my audience. Like, the thing we're craving is that community spirit again, that community just fervor and fun and just everybody talking about it. And we got that for a day. And so to me, that is why the update gets a B. And also I factored the pandemic. I think you have to do that. On any other day, this is a D update. But because of the circumstances, because of the scenario, and because it did give us some fun, I will roll with a B.
Wow. Guys, I'll bring us back to earth here. I'm going to say C. Okay. I'm going to say C. Here's the thing. The Halloween items, fantastic. But as my hype went down a little bit, because, like, man, if you would have asked me during the stream, I would have been like, S. Your boy can walk around like a trick-or-treater. But, like, man, we look at past events. Bunny Day got, what, 5 new items? 5 or 6 new items? Yeah. Now Halloween goes down to 3. 3 new firework event items, some seasonal event items. I feel like, and I'm factoring in the time that we had to wait for this.
Right.
Pandemic aside, and we'll get into that in a bit, I feel like that's it. Like that was just my general feeling. I was like, man, there better be something good. And this is kind of hindering on like what could come. That's like my C factor. I'm like, okay, I'll give him a little bit of a break. I'm borderline D.
And I agree with you, but I think you have to consider the second tweet, because effectively to me, that's Nintendo saying this isn't really an update, guys. This is like, we had to unlock fireworks because we had to. But like we still don't have our next update. And I feel like they've been saying that effectively with these blog posts for a while. We still don't have our next update. We don't even have enough to put in a trailer. We can't justify a trailer because we still don't have our next update. Oh, we gave you some items. Oh, go buy the Sanrio cards. Oh, we unlocked 50 design slots. Play with them. But I feel like they are without saying it, saying we don't have an update yet. Mm-hmm. This might not even, 10 years from now, when we look back at the lore of Animal Crossing New Horizons, maybe this isn't even qualified as an update.
Yeah. And like, I feel like there's some hidden anger behind my grade because, man, and we got to talk about pandemic stuff, okay? Because I feel like whenever something comes up and like Nintendo has some sort of shortcomings or something, it's always pandemic related. And that's valid. Like, we're going through something as like a whole world right now. But man, I look over and I know it's not the same team, but Pocket Camp is getting update after update, timely updates. Like, they put out an August update, they're releasing it and talking about it before August comes up. So man, I know it's not the same game, but those are game developers making a game. So what's different about that versus like a mainline?
You could be very what's the word?
Nintendo surely has the resources to make it safe enough so their employees can work on things. Like, this is $1 billion company. They're not just gonna be like,
Yeah, the jaded answer is, oh, that one makes money and this one doesn't. But I don't buy that because this does make money. You get more people to buy it. It's a $60 product. I think there is a realistic answer that is, okay, Pocket Camp is probably a lot easier to just plop items in. You're not dealing with the same level of interactivity. There's probably not the same level of stuff going on. And they are adding items, but they're not adding a cafe that you can interact with and walk in and work at. They're not adding new upgraded nooks cranny. So that factors in. And the other thing is just the intangible of like, who knows? Maybe the team who does Pocket Camp, maybe they have better internet at home. Like, there's just so many unknown factors with the pandemic. Like, if you go from fiber at the Nintendo offices to at home, someone has freaking 3 up, 3 down. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's just super team specific, or maybe whatever. Pocket Camp's been running for how many years now? 3, 4, 5 years? Maybe that is just like a well-oiled machine, and maybe with ACNH, like, they don't have that collaborative pre-production yet. It is disappointing as heck to me because I look at the fall and I say there's no games to play. Horizon Zero Dawn is heavily rumored / confirmed to be delayed, Forbidden West for PlayStation 5. There's like nothing coming out this holiday season. We're lucky that Nintendo was somehow able to throw together 6 first-party releases at the end of the year. It's hard to grasp, but I think it's just all these intangibles. Working from home, people are inevitably a little bit slower. They've got families to deal with, harder to communicate, different computer situations, different internet. I mean, I wish people would have just worn masks back in March of 2020 so we didn't have to deal with this. There were so many more implications besides fake freedom. But, it is what it is. And I think I see South Stars in the chat. And Pat, I know we've both talked about this before. I do not think Splatoon 3 is having an impact on ACNH.
No.
I don't.
I mean, the team probably... Some people from the New Horizons team probably went over and started working on that. The team might have shrunken a bit, but like not to the point where like that's the reason why things are slowing down.
I fully believe that, and I think that second tweet backs it up. I fully believe Nintendo had plans and they have just been, thrown into a mess. I don't think they were like, maybe we'll update, maybe we won't. And no, oh gosh, we're scrambling. I think they're scrambling because whatever they were supposed to be developing hasn't. And I talked about it on my channel. I think the timetable lines up. They had the first year really planned out well, and then that was set. And then they probably were going to work on year 2 as time progressed, and they didn't have the time to make it happen. They didn't have the whatever. Not resources, not money. They have that, but just it didn't come together. And that is why basically since Mario in March, we have seen these kind of like cardboard box, Scotch tape updates where it's like, well, design slots. Well, here's a few items.
Yeah, I feel like out of the major companies, though, Nintendo's been probably the most active. Like getting their, they've had like E3 directs and like they've been releasing new games like months out. So yeah. To me, out of the companies, if a company is gonna make their deadlines and stuff, it's gonna be Nintendo for me. There's another argument that I'm seeing a lot, and Pocket Camp obviously makes a ton of money. It's a mobile game. People buy like microtransactions, but like you gotta credit New Horizons at least a little bit. Like what, 35 million sold, 33 million sold. People are buying Switches for New Horizons. People are buying multiple Switches, and then you have like the little products coming out like Monopoly and like little figurines and stuff. And you gotta think Nintendo's relying on that fan base to then purchase those products. So it goes both ways. Like both games make money.
I think it really is just an unknown factor that we'll never be able to pinpoint. I mean, for all we know, one of the main people that programs Brewster in the cafe, his grandma got really sick with COVID. Like it could just be something as like easily explainable as that, right? Something that we can't pinpoint, we can't know. I don't think it's lack of resource. I don't think it's lack of trying. I don't think it's Pocket Camp makes more money or less money or anything. I think it really is just like, I'll go back to the Horizon Forbidden West. That's a game that was supposed to come out with the PS5 last November. Then it was supposed to come out early 2021. Then it was supposed to come out second half 2021. Then it was supposed to come out holiday 2020. Now it's early 2022. And so it makes perfect sense that even though they're trying their best to hold it together, ACNH would see some significant delays. And the only monetary related thing that I could see impacting, if you are a shareholder, and at the end of the day, Nintendo, that's who they probably care the most about, those people are going to react better to new products than they are to free DLC. And one thing that I think was really overlooked, even by myself, from the second tweet, is they effectively confirmed there's no paid DLC.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother... So, like, how big is this update going to be? Because, like, a lot of people, myself included, honestly, it's like paid means substantial. And I will continue to say that. Because I think, man, if they charge us $20 for something, like, they have to deliver sort of thing. But that second tweet that we've been kind of dancing around here. So they did this right after the update tweet, and they said, in addition to these updates, more free content for Animal Crossing New Horizons is currently in development for later this year.
Yes.
More information will be shared in the future, so please stay tuned. Thank you for your support and patience. Where did your mind go, Zach, when you first heard that?
Well, Zach's little idyllic mind was like, the big update's coming next. And then the data mine kind of looks into it, I skipped the free part. I was thinking, okay, maybe they are going to bring the big paid part or paid DLC, but you know, the free thing. And you can read into it however you want. To me, it does not sound like seasonal events. I don't think they make that tweet unless they're like, hey, we know you wanted something more, and that more is coming. I don't think this tweet is to confirm that Turkey Day is also getting new items, that Toy Day is getting new items. You know what I mean? I think this tweet, to me, it was relieving because it's like, oh, they are working on something. Also, you're not developing a new lantern. Like, that's not development. That's like plopping that in the game. Development to me implies that they're developing a new building, a new feature, a new mode, a new character,
something
like
that's not holiday focused.
That is like, hey, we've been working on it. Thanks for your patience. We're working on something. They don't say, thanks for your patience. Here's a turkey leg. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not, that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And that's kind of what got me because, man, especially after playing the update and seeing the Halloween items in there, it seems like they're not going to be holiday dependent. And then we got to bring up the data mines here, Zach, because, and spoiler warning, if you guys don't want to know what's happening, but let's just rewind to the 1.10 data mine.
Yes.
They hinted at a bunch of held items. And at the time we were like, man, that's a lot of held items. And as early as 1.11, Zach, the next update, we got most of those held items, which is, it's crazy for a data mine to be that close to actual like releasing the stuff. So 1.11 came out. We both reported on it. Do you want to go over some of the juicy parts of it?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously went through all the items that we now have seen, the Halloween ones that Pat was talking about, these very, very decorative lanterns that I really like. They went over a few things. There were some removed items, which was,
What were those?
Harvest chair, harvest decoration, harvest fireplace, harvest stand. It's DIY for harvest.
Maybe that means that
a new set, maybe,
or maybe that means they just locked it, like locked the event.
Yeah, it could be.
I didn't even see that. Wow. Okay, so the harvest DIYs are gone.
They talk about new animations, because now we have drink and we have eat. There's one about light sticks that supposedly is different from the New Year's glow stick. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if that's just maybe that's setting up for something new for New Year's, like a new kind of glow stick. There's things about the events. I know you talked through those. This the St. Martin's Day one and stuff of that sort. But the real juicy deal is that the cafe section continues to be built and worked on. Which, before we even read it, I want to point out there have been things in the data mines that some people are like, oh, it's just there. It's just going to sit there. An extra floor for Nook's Cranny. It's just going to sit there. The fact that they now back-to-back data mines, back-to-back updates have added and modified this shows that it's in active development. They're actively working on cafe-related things. And that, to me, means that, they just said they're developing something. They just said it. And in the data mine, well, we can see the evidence of what they're developing.
Yeah. That was my thing, too, because, it's now an update to a data mine. I don't think I've ever seen that. New camera controls for the cafe.
Right.
Man, I know that this has become a meme, but this has to, the time that it's lining up, this has to be a bigger update. And there was also, not in that data mine, and I didn't even report on this, there were sayings with fortune in them. Did you report on that?
Yeah. Stuff about villagers with fortune item, fortune content. So it seems like the update that and I firmly believe that Pat and I were right about an early year Brewster Katrina update. And then they were like, oh God, we can't get it together. Maybe this fall. I think this was supposed to be the big thing to kind of jolt us into year 2. And it just didn't come together. I think we're now looking at, it's safe to get excited for a Brewster Katrina fall substantial update like the good old days. Like a trailer with a bird and a cafe and a creepy kitty.
There was even rover data mines in there.
Oh, was there? I didn't even see that.
Like with the cafe. I don't know. It seemed a bunch of NPCs showing up. Michelle, thank you so much for with the 20. When ACNH came out during the pandemic, they promised 3 years of updates. Do you think they shot themselves in the foot by making a promise that was going to be difficult to keep, setting themselves up to fail? I don't think so. I think for a game like this, and here's the other argument. Animal Crossing is not games as a service, but I feel like when you cross into the cultural phenomenon, you have to become a games as a service. But yeah, the 3 years of promise updates, they're gonna hit that. I'm not even concerned. Now the quality and the size of these updates is probably not going to be what a lot of people want. That doesn't mean 3 years of trailers. That means 3 years of new items.
Because technically they're still on track. They still have been doing updates this year, right? So like for that, they still can. I think the difficulty comes in that last time Animal Crossing released with updates, which, weren't really updates because it was all in the game. Last time Animal Crossing released New Leaf, the world was a different place for video games. Now every game gets constant updates. Fortnite has Ariana Grande coming in concert, Travis Scott in concert, big things happen. So the playing field has changed. When they say 3 years of updates now, they probably meant, like we've always had with Animal Crossing where, there's holidays. And we're like, oh, it's 2021. We expect content. And look, maybe they do mean substantial content. We're going to have to see what happens. Like, I'm obviously very excited for the prospect. Like, we haven't even really had a little moment about, like, Brewster is almost assuredly coming. But I'm interested in what happens after that. Because do they get back on the track of good updates? Is that the last hurrah? I don't really know. But let me just go through a little bit of this cafe thing just for people that are waiting with bated breath. They modified camera controls, which they had added in last update. And now they've added different settings. There's a new progress event called NPC Memory Talk Progress Museum Built Cafe. And there's basically different triggers in the game for before you build it and after you build it. Things that like NPCs would say to you, like knowing your progress, how they know whether you have built it or have not built it. And then another data miner thinks that it'll be a room in the main museum room or off the main museum room because there's a new piece of code for Museum Entrance 3 and Museum Cafe. So this would be well, it's not really a third because there's already 4.
There's 2 floors and a basement.
But how many doors? Yeah, okay, so whatever. So
there's like 7.
So they're adding a new entrance of some sort. Like, Nintendo isn't messing around, especially if they're saying, like, please wait, please be patient. They're not just putting in, NPC Memory Talk Progress Museum Built Cafe and LDR Museum Entrance 3 if, like, for giggles. Like, that. I don't see any way that this doesn't happen. The last thing they found were event flows, which means, like, dialogue progress. Like when Brewster asks, do you want to turn in a fossil? So an event flow for messages related to the cafe. It's XCT Message Cafe chooses from 4 random sayings related to cafe. So they are laying the foundation for Brewster, and like, to me, this is like a certainty.
Yeah, and honestly, we didn't even really talk about this. The mechanics that were added in for those 3 new held items, the boba, the cotton candy, the popsicle, I feel like those are mechanics setting up coffee, honestly. I feel like it's going to work the same way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be like you're going to get power for each sip that you take. Unless they change it dramatically, I think that's a pretty good like setup right there.
Eat your little croissant, sip your little coffee.
I hope it's substantial. And actually, going back, I'll put a poll in the chat for you. But Michelle saying, like, did they shoot themselves in the foot? I think they're shooting themselves in the foot right now by saying, it's tough, though, because, like, people want communication from Nintendo. They want to know that Nintendo has our back. But, like, this is turned into hyping. And I feel like the next update, a lot of people are maybe even holding out. This might be the last update that they're like, man, if this doesn't deliver, I'm done. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this team right now, especially like Doug Bowser coming out, Nintendo tweeting. Zach, any other game they do this for? I don't think so.
But I think that's your sign that, like, it's happening. I don't think Nintendo opens themselves like, well, we don't know if we get something done. Like, I think they say this because they know that they are working on something substantial. And for me, that second tweet was the communication that we've been waiting for. That was the clarity that so many people have wanted. And that does give you like okay, this update is really lame and small, but we know that they are working. And for better or worse, it's pandemic related, almost assuredly, and we just have to be patient.
Mm-hmm. So everything is pointed towards Brewster, but I feel like if they add Brewster, and I know you might not feel this way, I don't think Brewster is necessarily enough to be like, okay, guys, we're done. This is our big update. what else do you think could be added? Do you have any other?
I mean, you still have the whole multiplayer thing. You still have the whole Captain Tortimer Island thing. I think that is still something that could happen. I don't know how much for Animal Crossing New Horizons. I don't know how much bigger an update can be than a new building, a new character, a new potentially job, potentially 2 new NPCs. I mean, to me, I know you're partial to Halloween, but to me, the best update was April Earth Day, adding Leaf and his shrubs and adding Red and his secret beach and all of his art, which also added the art gallery. So if they do Brewster, you have to build the museum or build the cafe. You can do things in the cafe. They add Katrina. Maybe she shows up in the plaza with fortune items. That, for me, is now rivaling the biggest, best update. I think then you'd be like, okay, well, multiplayer, mini games is kind of what would be left. I will get on record and say I don't think this is their last hurrah. I think this is just their delayed hurrah in a series of more hurrahs.
Okay. Yeah, let me know, guys, in the chat. A lot of you guys are saying gyroids. What to you do you think would be or coincide with this? Gyroids is a good point. That's a new collectible item that, Brewster is a big fan of, so I can see those possibly being added. I'm with you, though. I think NPCs at this point, make a bigger impact. And honestly, if we're looking at this game, New Horizons just feels like a ghost town, honest. And I know that this might be but you're on a deserted island, Pat. You got to build your own town. But man, there's nothing. There's no characters. It feels empty. Seeing the same 5-7 characters come to your island. So yeah, man, I think the ultimate update, and I've said this before, is another island where you can go, and it's more kind of of a developed city. That would be kind of a cool contrast with your city. Mm-hmm. So I think NPCs are the future. People are saying mini games, shops, farming. Farming could be another one.
Yeah, the whole cooking farming thing that just never really panned out.
Yeah. So it's set up for a September update, and that's when you think it would happen, sometime in October.
Well,
then?
I mean, it makes a lot of sense that the events, kind of end. The start of the last event is mid-September. The direct for Nintendo is usually first, second week of September, first, second, third week of September. It's always in September. It seems like it would be perfect to announce it, show it off, and then have it kick off, late September, so they can, that way the trailer can talk about Brewster, it can talk about Katrina, it can talk about Halloween, That to me seems like what they do, and then I think that also gives them time and space, just like last year, to run it back late November, with their Turkey Day, Toy Day update.
And I think Liz nails it in the chat. Expand Harv's Island. You literally have an island that could home all these NPCs, and it would be cool to see Nintendo, their developers develop their own island and see what their island.
Wow, have you seen what their island looks like? We've seen what their island looks like.
Well, some special developer tools, yeah. But man, Harv's Island, it's an island that's already in the game that we can travel to. Expand it, remove those fences, add in Brewster is rumored to be in the museum, but add in some other characters, make it more of a living, breathing game. I think that's kind of what's missing for me.
I think that'd be awesome. We haven't podcasted in a long time, but over the last 6-7 weeks, it's become very clear to me that Nintendo and Animal Crossing Horizons, they make additive updates. They don't make changes. So add design slots, add a new NPC, add new items. There's really nothing they've done to course correct, expand, improve. We don't get bigger mystery islands. We don't get faster dialogue. It's all additive. So I think if you want to look to what they do in the future, it's going to be additive. The deserted island, yeah, it's a deserted island, but it seems like that's the choice they made, and this game will live and die with the fact that it's a deserted island. If I had to bet, I'd say you get Brewster Katrina in the fall, a small thing for winter, and then next year spring you get a Tortimer Island, minigame island, and maybe that's kind of maybe some new villagers or something, or a new amiibo card set. I still believe in an amiibo card set at some point. So I think that's kind of I would say 3 more substantial updates would be what I would kind of look at.
Yeah. And if you're looking at the nation right now, 79% say Brewster will be added this fall. This fall, Zach, not even this year, this fall. I'm actually going to be in that yes category.
Yeah, Datamines.
If he's not added, I don't. I don't know. We've been down this road. Now I'm getting like war flashbacks here. So it seems to me like we know now what Nintendo is doing with holidays. I wanted to kind of insert this in here. So Bunny Day got new Nook's Cranny items. Now Halloween gets new Nook's Cranny items. The firework event gets 3 new items. Christmas, you could assume that there's going to be more toys or more Christmas items. What happens with Turkey Day? Because that wasn't really item based. I mean, they could give us more harvest items, but
yeah.
Do you think anything happens like?
I don't think what you do changes. I think maybe Nook's Cranny adds some themed stuff. To me, it seems like that's what they're doing, because even with the DIY for the Halloween stuff, it's popping up in Nook's Cranny. So to me, it seems like the Nook's Cranny little item pad, I don't know, it's like a sleeping bag for drawers and trees and stuff. That thing is where they're going to be making their holiday changes. I feel like that's their holiday change station. Like, our holiday updates go here, and it hasn't thus far deviated from that. I guess Red's Raffle is selling the boba, but there's not really a selling spot for Halloween or Turkey Day. So, yeah,
and that's kind of what lends me to believe like Halloween's not going to change, like the actual event. No. And it's crazy because like 2 days ago I did the 2020 event, and I'm like, guys, do it. It's gonna lock, and it did. I guess I can. Yeah, 2020's locked now. Man, for Franklin, I feel like, and I'm just gauging the chat and what people have been saying, like, I feel like farming should expand. I mean, I think Halloween, and why I like it so much, is because it like relied on farming pumpkins to then make the holiday items, rather than like Bunny Day shutting your game down. Like,
do you think there's a chance that they could add more farming items that would be required for building the cafe? I mean, I know it's not very logical, but like, oh, you have to. Brewster's trying to get his cafe ready, so you have to bring him wheat and potatoes.
I would just love a harvest update. Like, give me crops. They have the growth mechanic like in the game already. It takes 3 days to grow something. Right. If you water it, you get more. So like, man, that's already in place. Like, add some corn, add some potatoes, you know?
I like Mason in chat asking what the heck happened to Nook points. That cute little addition they made to their phone app, just I think again that points to pandemic. I think that points to like
but man, that's a mobile thing. Those are I don't know if there's any game developers in the chat, how taxing is it to render 3D items into a game?
And I agree with you. I'm trying to look at it differently today. I'm trying to just, I guess, be empathetic to the situation. Maybe it is just so much more a schedule structure thing. Well, we had these Katrina items planned. Well, we had these Brewster items planned. Now we can't put those Brewster items in because Brewster is so, you know what I mean? Maybe it's just like just the logistics of it is just so, I don't know why they can't audible quicker. I don't know why they can't be like, hey, we can't do this, so let's throw in, like, put the lanterns in the app or something. But yeah, I
think I have like 800 or 900 points on there. I do it whenever I like think of it, whenever it comes into my mind, like hoping that there's going to be more items, but
there's not.
Man, those items just, there's no reason to go into it. And so let me ask you this. I mean, I think the answer is going to obviously be yes, but well, maybe not. Do you think there's going to be more, or should there be more Pocket Camp New Horizons crossover? Because we literally have the Pocket Camp like items that you can get in your game now. So do you think that ever expands, or is that something to maybe sell people on the app initially?
I think, to me, it seems like the audiences are quite different. So I don't know why they don't just make the easy transition and just, hey, we put new underwater items in Pocket Camp for August. Let's just move them over to New Horizons. It's pretty clear that the teams are different. The development is different. They aren't going to do that. But yeah, I'm surprised there's not more easy crossover and carryover.
And I'll even go a step further. I think if you are willing to buy items in Pocket Camp, they should transfer over to New Horizons. I think if you're spending actual money on like a water slide or whatever, and there's some people out there I can guarantee pay lots of money for Pocket Camp. If you're willing to spend money for items, they should transfer to this game. That would be a very nice marketing tool. Zach, let's put on some suits. Let's go to Washington. Let's apply.
I also was just quickly looking for the developer of Pocket Camp. I I don't know that it's the same. I'm almost positive it's not the same team, but I don't even know it's the same studio. And that would explain, you know what I mean? If that's the case, that would explain why.
Yeah.
Yeah, ND Cube, which is your Mario Party studio, is who's mainly on Pocket Camp. I would imagine that it's a very skeleton squad putting up the updates and items for that, so it's probably just not the same team. But yeah, I'm ready to go work for Nintendo. I'm down. I always feel like we could do better. I know that's probably a little arrogant, but I always feel like we could.
And money talks, man. Like, go watch a couple Pocket Camp trailers. You can literally swim in a mermaid costume with your villagers, and we're over here doing backflips over cotton candy, Zach. Something ain't right. Something ain't right.
But at least you can walk around. You can sit. You can go in buildings. You can fly over to visit your friends. You can terraform your whole island. I mean, if we are being totally honest, it's really difficult to compare Animal Crossing to a modern video game. And I don't mean that as a slight, but like if you're going to get real granular between Pocket Camp and New Horizons, then I think you got to get real granular with Animal Crossing as a whole and say, like, this game is archaic. But that's fine. It just is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is not a game that is going to be taking advantage of the latest technology or making the smartest moves, because it's not. It is. I hope this isn't offensive, but to me, it is much more of a toy, and look at Mario Odyssey. He goes to like 10 different freaking whole worlds, and in Animal Crossing, you're stuck on this like 10 by 10 square. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not the same thing. It doesn't compare. You know, we're about to get Halo Infinite and a new God of War and all these games and Starfield and Elder Scrolls, and they're insanely massive. And Animal Crossing, you know, they struggle to have all the items on screen. So like, it's just totally different. They're playing two different sports.
And I'm not saying like Pocket Camp's a better game. I've trust me, I've tried to get into Pocket Camp. It's rough.
Yeah.
But like, it's literally it's the fact that New Horizons would thrive if it was item based, like lots of item based updates. Look how many people just like got so excited over the small amount of items that were added into this game. Like, it reignited people. People are now doing fall Halloween islands. Like, man, each month give us like 10 items. You know, that's all it would take for this community. I really think so. But
it's
yeah. We're gonna switch over to the Q&A part of the show. Ooh. So there's two areas you can put your questions, either in the chat and Zach will snipe them out, or in my Discord under NookTalk
worst
questions.
Sniper we've ever seen.
That's probably better. In the Discord under NookTalk questions. Discord link is in the description. I'm gonna go over some questions here. Hammy says, yes. I'll throw this one at Zach. Having not seen Brewster, is he worth all the hype? This bird that's given people so much hope. Is it worth it, Zach?
Come on.
Because
guys.
Listen, they're not. If he's boring, Zach, they're not coming for me. I'm a Halloween guy. You're bird guy. So.
I mean, again, how many times have you seen the faces of Kix and LaBelle and Leaf, and like, he's just somebody new. That alone makes him exciting. But I do think he has a speciality about him because, one, he will be indoors. He's not going to be just relegated to a cart. And two, in theory, he should allow you to actually do something more than shop, right? He should allow some sort of working or there should be some sort of three-way interaction between you, Brewster, and your villagers, which I think makes it a more special thing. I guess it's less about Brewster and more about the cafe. Get excited for the cafe. You don't have to necessarily get excited for a regal green pigeon.
I think if it's just Brewster from past games, yes and no. I mean, it's a new thing to do every day. You can go see him. In New Leaf, you could work at the cafe. There's some items surrounding Brewster. There's a lot of things that are surrounding Brewster, right. like gyroids and things like that. I'm interested to see New Horizons Brewster, because it seems like with every character that comes into this game, there's a new imagining of like what they do. Some characters get stuff removed from them. Other characters get things added. So I guess we can't really comment on this until they announce what New Horizons Brewster is. I think it's worth the hype though. I think it's worth the hype.
And again, maybe we should, it's not YouTube search engine friendly, but maybe we should shift the way we refer to this as the cafe update rather than the Brewster update, because it's
true.
It's not Brewster himself that is so exciting. It's the cafe and the concept of a new building being added, which has not yet been done in the game. And that is where everything is pointing. And if it was being pointed Brewster, we could be like, well, what if Brewster just has a cart in the plaza? What if Brewster just shows up one day like Rover? The cafe inclusions in the data mine are what should alert you that this is something more substantial. This is bigger than, when Leaf got added or an outdoor NPC. This is an indoor guy. He's an indoor cat, indoor bird.
Can any of the Pocket Camp players tell me if Flick or CJ or the Dodos are in Pocket Camp? Like, are New Horizons characters in Pocket Camp?
I don't think so.
No? Zach, what are the chances we don't see Brewster and it's like
a new bird?
To me, that would sting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the cafe's there, but like, it could be a cool,
I think a new NPC would be super fun, but thus far Nintendo hasn't done it. Like the new NPCs were Flick, CJ, Daisy May, right? And I guess
those replaced Chip,
right.
So
yeah, to me that
CJ
would be
is in
really wild though. Brewster's not old.
So CJ is in Pocket Camp.
Okay.
Because I know that Brewster is in Pocket Camp, and I'm wondering if they would make that switch. I think you got to stay with Brewster, though. Brewster's iconic. Tortimer, I could see them maybe refreshing that character, but CJ's in the fishing tourney. Okay, interesting. Thank you, guys. OW Drums says, out of interest, do you think the next AC update could make or break the community? Personally, I think if they don't deliver, it wouldn't be the end, but I think lots of people would lose hope. Right now, I'm quietly confident for what could come. So, make or break, Zach, this update that they have been constantly updating us on, apparently. You get to make or break?
I think it's make or break for some, but I think the people that are here asking questions, I think they'll ride it till the end. Like, I don't know. I think look at New Leaf. Look how long that community stayed together for, basically till New Horizons. So I think the hardcore, the people, like a lot of the people that are here in chat today, I think they will stick it out regardless, because like it's their game. I think the people that would have been quote lost are already lost.
Yeah.
I think that in the last 6 months there's been no trailer all year, right? Or wait, no, there was a trailer for Beautiful Pave. So there's
a trailer for the Mario and it? Oh yeah, Pave and Sanrio.
Sanrio. So to me, the general populace loses interest when the trailers stop. So like that is when I would say like, okay, it'll bring some people back. I mean, there's going to be people getting a Switch for the first time. There'll be people getting a Switch OLED. So it'll long way to say I don't think it's a make or break moment.
Yeah, I think no matter the update, just because Nintendo's talking about it, I think it's going to only add to the community, but it depends on the amount of content that they add because of it. Like, so if Brewster's added, but there's nothing to do, then I think after a while you'll see people fade. But I want to say that I think people are, I think it is kind of make or break, to be honest, because Nintendo's been not hyping it up, but they've talked about this update. Right. Doug Bowser has kind of got us to calm down a little bit. So I think some people are out there being like, okay, you got one more chance. You got one more, so I don't know. I think it is, but it isn't. Kind of a bogus answer. I'm sorry. Let's see. Ooh, here's a good one. Eric says, do you think they'll stealth drop the Turkey Day and Toy Day events in the next update? Do you think they'll even be mentioned like the Halloween ones? Or do you think holidays aren't as, they're not using those for their updates?
Not so much. I mean, I guess they kind of did with the fireworks, but I think so much of that is just because they don't have anything else. If the update does come in the month of September, like, to me it'd be really weird to leap 3 months ahead. I don't think they do. I mean, maybe there's items, but I don't think the event itself is unlocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on the update. It depends like what's in this update. If it's Brewster and like 2 other NPCs, they might just not even mention it. I just think it was weird how Nintendo Japan didn't even mentioned Halloween.
It's because they don't want you time traveling. They don't expect or want you to time travel. That's not how they
But
play the game.
it's a part of the package. Well, okay, they don't want us to time travel, but then they gave us like 5 months of the scheduling on there, or like 3 months.
But you can't time travel that. You can't time travel and get those seasonal items, right?
That's true.
So I think the reason that they didn't mention it is just not because they didn't think it was consequential, not because it's telling about the next update. I think it's literally just because they don't time travel to October and check out our new items. Like, that would be weird. And think about if they put that in there. Think about what our videos would have been if they did announce those items and we would be like, there's nothing new coming till November. You know what I mean? Like, that, in terms of like managing the reaction, that would have been dangerous.
Yeah. Mindy says, I honestly think I enjoyed this update more because of the unannounced items. Discovering them has really created a great community vibe. I agree with that. So hot take, Nintendo should stop announcing the items in detailed blog posts and should only tell us the date and a general preview of the event. Do you agree?
For these, yeah, that'd be fun. For like the normal updates, I think the trailers are very cool. But for this, like, we got nothing, then yeah, I think that'd be fun. Maybe we put some stuff in there. I mean, what was your motivation to even check it out? Just to see if Halloween was locked?
So we were streaming and people were just checking events. Because I think the biggest thing was people were checking if Halloween was unlocked or if it was locked or whatever. So I think it was Jelly Crossing who like went there and she went in Nooks and there was an item. Oh, and yeah, like, man, from there. Okay. From there, we dipped out of the firework event. Yeah. I think it would be cool, kind of like a puzzle type thing. Like, ooh, I wonder what they added. But then again, Mindy, if they don't add a lot of stuff, then it's going to be even more of a letdown. Hey guys, we updated the game, and then we like go to look, and there's like we can't find anything. Yeah. So I think the blog post should continue. Again, we make content, and you guys watch the videos. But like the average player is not going to Nintendo Japan and reading the patch notes and things like that. So, okay. Andrew says, going to throw this out there, is the update coming most likely the end of September going to be the Panic Switch update that brings people back? The survey, the push of Halloween early, seems like they're making room for a big move, and Nintendo knows their fans have been expressing their frustration. Panic move or delayed summer update, Zach?
Delayed summer update. I mean, I'd love to see the stats. I don't know how many players, like, once you've stopped playing, I don't know that a free update makes you come back. I'd love to see like stats on that. I'm always surprised that like the percentage of players that beat games is so low. I would say that the percentage of players that like stop playing a game and then come back 6 months later is also incredibly low. So to me, the Brewster update is just about generating hype for the hardcore fans and honestly generating hype for new players. I think Animal Crossing being back in the news sells new copies. Nintendo makes no money off of people coming back to play the game. So to me, it's like, keep your hardcore base.
Well, I don't know about. Okay, so if someone bought the game at launch and there's a new multiplayer added, maybe they have to renew their membership, their online membership.
If it was multiplayer, sure. To me,
they could have an effect.
Yeah, and I'm no marketer or whatever game developer, but to me, I would think that a free update is to do good by your hardcore fans and to regenerate interest amongst. It brings it back to the news. You know what I mean? It gets people talking about Animal Crossing so that, hey, come holiday season, little Timmy wants a Switch and AC, even though it's a year and a half old.
I think, like, for me anyway, if a game is announced to have an update, so perfect example, Pokemon Snap. Recently in the news, there's going to be 3 new maps, and, judging by what Pokemon Snap has already, there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 different variations of those levels. Plus there's a new mode where you're like super tiny and you're taking like I think it's a great update. That is going to make me turn on the game. I haven't turned on the game since I beat it. Like, I don't know, month. When did that come out? I don't even know time anymore. But like April that 1st? Is going to make me play.
When did
but this is.
But that's also it's so close to release. Like for that game, I'll pull the exact date.
That's true.
Animal Crossing. By the time this fall update comes out, September, Animal Crossing will have been out for 18 months, right? 18 months. I think that's too long. I think like the Leaf and Red update might have brought people back, but yeah. Pokemon Snap came out April 30th, so effectively let's call it May 1st. So May, June, July, and then this is August 3rd. So that's 3 months after launch. So this is effectively like this is like the Wave 1 summer update for Animal Crossing, which then that could bring.
That's also like a 10 to 15 hour game. You're talking about people that are invested thousands of hours. So it's tough to compare that, but I'm just saying, like, man, if a new update comes out with a game that I own, I'll at least check it out.
Yeah.
Except Story of Seasons. No, stop. I do want to go back.
Do you though?
It is fun. It's just the personality ain't there for me. Okay.
Yes.
Baby Cameron 10, and I don't know the answer to this question. With the Halloween event being semi-locked, do you think this guarantees an update by the end of September / before Halloween event? So we touched on this a little bit, okay? Because the scheduled event items went all the way up until the end of September. So a September blog post or trailer would then let us know that there's an October update. However, there's been data mined items that
do
go
that better. It's been 7 weeks. However,
there's been items that go into November.
Yeah.
So, Zach, I'm concerned that we might not get anything till November. I mean, they obviously have to unlock the items or unlock the events. So I think end of September is where you're going to get it. Because they have to unlock Halloween. That was what happened with the firework event. They were pushed into a corner where they had to update the firework event. So I think
has this ever happened that there's been items added farther ahead than the update window? I don't think so, right? This is kind of a first.
It's a confusing thing. They didn't mention any of the Halloween stuff. They didn't mention any of the November stuff. And those are in the game.
I think you gotta go by that seasonal event list. I think if they really were holding until November, I think then you get the list of October events. And since they didn't do that, every single trailer and blog post and PR release talks about those seasonal events. I think that's what we go on.
Yeah.
I think you got to go on what they put forth. I don't know. Let's get an interview with Animal Crossing Dave or Susie or whoever. I don't know, whoever's making the game.
That'd be great.
Why did they do this? Why did they put that stupid house in that one screenshot that wasn't in the game?
That had to be That had to be for something. I think if I'm going to make an educated guess, I think end of September they're going to unlock the Halloween event, and man, it might be one of the worst updates because we already know about the October items and the November items. So they might make a big deal out of it, but since it's been data mined and brought to life, we might be like, oh man, now we got to wait till November. So it's a very confusing time right now. Why would the Halloween events are throwing me off?
I think they have to do the next one, the big one. What are they going to say? If the next one's small, another tweet? Oh, just kidding. More stuff coming. Just a little more patient. Thanks for waiting. A little more. Like, I think the next one has to be the big one. I think that tweet is why. I don't think they use that tweet. If there was another small thing coming, like, oh, beginning of September, beginning of October, they're just going to unlock Halloween and drop the items. I don't think you can put that tweet in there, man. I think that tweet means that the next thing is like you get one shot with that tweet. That tweet it's expired.
You can't make another one.
You can't reuse that. Yeah, you can't do that again.
So end of September, they're going to unlock the Halloween event. They're going to then show the items in the blog post, like the new Halloween items and the new November stuff. And then I feel like they also, maybe we get a new trailer. This is trailer worthy from what's being speculated and stuff.
Yes.
New NPCs is trailer worthy. So I'm going to go out on a limb, Zach, and say we do get the trailer back. I'm going to say that Brewster, for me, is the only guaranteed NPC in that. I feel like such a schmuck right now. I'm going to look back and be like, Pat, they really tricked you and you said Brewster again, but man, it's all lining up.
Mm-hmm. And now it's like, it's the fall time, so it makes sense. You don't have the excuse like, oh, Brewster in the spring, Brewster in the summer. That doesn't make like.
But Cap'n enters the chat, and I'm not.
No, I'm just saying now it lines up. Now we have they're working on something. It's in the data mine. It's the right time for because like that was one of your arguments. When I would always be like, Brewster is next, you'd be like, well, it's not the time. Brewster isn't really a spring character, but he sure is a fall character.
Yeah. Johnny with the 5. I would love October updates, but more items for Halloween. I don't think so. And we won't get any. And we would get only refreshed items for Harvest Day. Okay. I'm gonna say that I don't think we're gonna get any more Halloween items than the 3 that we got, unless there is a new end of event item that Jack has. That's the only thing that I can think of.
Which
I think
Zipper did not have, correct?
Yeah. But how many items were added to Bunny Day? Because if they're going with that formula, 5. Okay,
well,
so maybe
Bunny
2...
Day is a 8 to 12 day event. The Halloween's just a one night shtick. So
yeah,
the line has been drawn, Pat.
Maybe if they stay consistent with the 5 items, there might be 2 items that you get.
But I'm trying to tell you that Halloween is not as big of a deal as Bunny Day.
I would bet that all of these people agree with that. Halloween is better than Bunny Day in every single way possible.
But Bunny Day changes the game.
Jack is better than Zipper. Pumpkins are better than eggs. It all lines up, man.
And the candy that the villagers give you is better than all the cool different eggs you find all over the world.
It's better in every way. I can't think of a... The costumes are better.
The costumes are such a missed opportunity. That's where I'd like to see them put their effort. Forget the items. More Able Sisters clothing.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, feel free to put more questions in the chat, y'all. Let's see. Kirsten with the out there question. How would you feel if Nintendo was to make an HD port of City Folk? That's a weird one.
I'm so over ports. Put them.
I'm over ports too.
Put them in the same basket with all of my plastic instruments from Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Which, by the way, if you have any laying around, they go for a lot of money on eBay. I learned.
Guitar Hero,
I sold
like
a used Rock Band guitar for like $140.
I messed up, Zach. I was moving. Years ago, and I sold my whole Rock Band set with like a special red guitar.
Oh man!
For like 100, Zach.
The whole thing.
Oh my God!
Pat.
What an idiot!
It was a special edition guitar.
There was like some red guitar or something. It was like, I don't know. Damn. It was for the Xbox One. I don't know if that narrows it down, but
man, oh man,
regrets. Anyways, the HD, I don't think they ever remake any Animal Crossing game ever. I just don't. Man, if they made a New Horizons City Folk graphical style, I think City Folk looks like such a better game. If they do that, like, I don't think they're gonna do it. Maybe, no. And I don't even think they're gonna add it to Virtual Console either.
Oh, Pat, it was a Rock Band 4 Fender Stratocaster Red Target exclusive guitar. And they are currently listed on eBay. You got one for $185, $200, $300, $250. Yeah.
Awesome. I love hearing that. That's so great. Listen, back in the day, back from like 2014 to like 2019, I would buy and trade video game stuff all the time. I would, like, your boy was infamous of trading the NES Classic when it was like hyped and like there was none of them. I was the plug. I had like 4 or 5 of them and I made some great deals. But that hurts.
Well, at least you got your Halloween items. I hope that your people and your chat is just so amazed that your whole like Halloween in July like worked out so well. I don't know how it gets more.
Can we just comment on that?
That's just insane, man. That
Coincidence?
Insane.
I don't know, man. Jimmy, how's it going? Says Happy Home Designer DLC for Animal Crossing New Horizons. I would thrive. And Jimmy, we talked about this. Harv's Island could be the new city. Expand that. Put a Happy Home Academy, like, little building there. Add in some other NPCs. I think it's perfect. Man,
I wish there was paid DLC for Animal Crossing, but I don't. At this point, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't think year 3 is where you can introduce paid DLC. Maybe, but I don't.
And you said before that you think this update, like the one that's rumored now, you think that's not going to be the biggest one? Like,
I think it could be the biggest one, but I don't think it's like the last one of that size. Like, I don't think this is like the last hurrah is what I guess I was saying. You were kind of saying like, is this it? I don't think this is it. Maybe it is the biggest one, but I don't. I think ideally Nintendo is doing trailers every couple months. I mean, it didn't pan out, but Doug Bowser did say towards the beginning of the year that they wanted to keep the same cadence that you've seen from year one, and that hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was their plan, and it just didn't work out. My question is, will they extend it? If the plan was to be wrapped by the end of year two, are they now going to use year three, or are there going to be characters there on the cutting room floor? Was Captain supposed to be this fall or something, or this summer, or who knows? And now will he get it next summer, or is he just like?
What does
So
year
long,
three
Captain.
look? What does year three look like for you? Because year three,
Living in a different state, man. Hopefully playing some new games.
for Animal Crossing, you think?
Um,
What happens after? Like, what is year three? I think year three is very. It could go either way.
It could, because
you could get a final send off. You could get new, an item every month.
or
It's so
because
up in
things
the
have
air.
been pushed, you could get substantial updates. I think naturally year three was supposed to be very small, but if they already have the plans, or if they're starting to work on it and they want to get it out there, then maybe year three is a substantial year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, year three is like such a mystery to me. I feel like maybe they continue the trend with like new holiday items. That would be wild though. If year three we're still getting like new Halloween, and like at that point, who is still playing the events except, the crazy people. But yeah, year three, I feel like you're going to get like 2 substantial updates. And then the last one is going to be a legacy update, Zach, where everything is unlocked forever.
Let me ask you this. Have we gotten a substantial update yet in 2021? Is Mario substantial?
I feel like the closest thing to substantial is Sanrio because it added villagers.
So effectively,
But then that's
no.
paid. Yeah.
So we're still waiting on a substantial update for 2021. I hope we get one. I really do.
Yeah.
I really think we will.
I would argue that there's been like 2 substantial updates ever. I feel like
Earth Day.
the Earth Day, and for me it's Halloween. I just feel like there was so much added.
Wave 2, man. Luna.
That was the dream stuff,
Right.
the museum expansion, the anniversary stuff. I feel like was good, but I don't think it was necessarily substantial.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris has a good point. How surprised would you be if they added Cap'n at the end of September, as a summer event for Southern Hemisphere people? They meant for it to be a Northern Hemisphere update, but it was just delayed and they rolled with it. I would be very surprised if they ever cater an update to Southern Hemisphere people.
Yeah.
That'd be weird. It'd be weird.
I get what he's saying in terms of like, is the timeline off because of delays and such, and issues with development? Maybe, but you'd think that we would see something in the code about like boat or multiplayer or mini. You'd think since we're seeing all this cafe stuff, there's been no real hint of Cap in anything outside of speculation, right?
Yeah. I can't think of any.
I know we had like, the bigger island thing that was kind of deep,
And
disproven.
it's not saying anything about Southern Hemisphere. It's like, I feel like the mainstream is on the Northern Hemisphere schedule. Like, look at the Twitter. They cater every single tweet to, hey, we're having fun in the sun. Like, it's not going to be like, here's your summer update in December. It'd be really weird. I guess they could do it, but
Yeah, I think we would see it, anything Cap in the code, because last time it was cafe entrance and camera settings. It was third museum floor code. I think the reason initially why Cap'n started gaining steam was that South Shore baseline. Remember when that was expanding? But we learned that was just some dumb number change, and it wasn't really anything that affected the game.
yeah. Let's see. Cricket says, do you think Nintendo purposely put the word free in there to dispel any further talk about paid DLCs? More free content for Animal Crossing New Horizons is currently in development for later this year. I feel like the word free, it stood out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Stood out to me, definitely. But they would never, I don't think they would ever want people to stop talking about potentially giving them more money. I feel like,
It's just not something they do a lot anymore, which is so weird.
yeah. I'm still not ruling out paid content. I feel like your audience is big enough, even still, even a year plus later, where they could drop something paid. But man, if this happens to be a big update, and I'm talking like Brewster, other NPCs, shops, things like that, and it's all free, then I'll probably stop talking about paid stuff. Because like if they're willing to do that for free, then man, a paid thing has to be giant.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like, okay, given that we've added NPCs, we've added items, we've added clothes, what can they possibly do that is paid? And I know before we've talked about multiplayer, I think it's really hard to do a paid multiplayer plan because then it just splinters the audience. It's so weird. Like, okay, the people that paid for this can do multiplayer, but when you're connecting with your friend, it has to check that they don't have the content and they're kicked out. Like, that just becomes so ugly.
Yeah.
To me, them putting free there dispels any paid content because I don't, like you said, I don't know what is big enough to justify $20.
I think paid DLC is going to be what you were saying before. Amiibo cards, similar. Because like Sanrio, if they never released a trailer, that's all it was. It was a re-release of Amiibo cards. So maybe they come out with a New Horizons series and we can, finally swipe in Raymond and, Dom and things like that.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but another way that this September, in theory, update could get bigger is with the Zelda villagers. I think that still could be something on the table. It's just recycled content. It still lines up with Legend of Zelda. They've got nothing going on in the fall for Zelda. It might be a nice little bone to throw Zelda fans. And I don't know how they would access those villagers. Do they do a card pack? Are they just now part of the pool? I don't know how they would really introduce those. But I think that's something that could also kind of build upon the cafe and the items and unlocking the Halloween event.
Yeah. We got a question from Sam and Sean. We love them. Which NPC might come in the next update, if not Brewster? Is there a chance for 2 NPCs? I think there is a chance, but the more I think about it, how would they... So Brewster and Katrina are the ones that are rumored. So I guess it would kind of be something along the lines of when they introduced Leaf and Red, it would just kind of be like a trailer where they then, here's Brewster, and then it would cut, and then some weird mystical thing happened, and then Katrina would be there.
I think Katrina would be kind of the Leaf stand-in in the Plaza Village or the Plaza NPC, and then Brewster would be the Red, kind of having more of a quest around him. You have to get some stuff, and in the same way that for Red you had to buy his first painting, you have to build Brewster's Cafe. I think that would work.
I can't think of any other NPC that would like randomly appear in there. There was some weird rumblings about Rover, which was weird because he has his own thing. But it was like Rover Cafe, something. Man, if NPCs casually win in the cafe, like, oh my god, that'd be great.
They just show up there. How fun would that be? Like, they're only in there, but they just show up there.
Yeah, just randomly. Random villagers.
Yeah, all past stuff. Like, that's where Chip comes back. That's where Lyle and Digby and all them, they show up. That would be... The gang's all here in the cafe.
Christina says, do you think if this update was in a video trailer, do you think it would have seemed way more exciting than it was?
I don't know what you put in that trailer. I mean, yes, because of the trailer, but then when we saw it was 12 seconds long, we would have been like, what the hell?
Yeah, I feel like, trailers definitely get me more excited, but what would you really show? Well, you would show new items, the firework items, and apparently they don't want to give us any info on Halloween or whatever. Right.
So you just show that cucumber, that eggplant.
I honestly, I think it would have... I don't think this update is great. So I think a not great trailer would have done the same for me, just seeing things. So,
although it would have had bigger impact if they said, also coming next, and then put like the Brewster, like instead of doing the little second tweet, they were like coming this fall, and then it was, the next update with Brewster's face or something.
That would have been the only... Yeah, honestly, that's a power move right there. Like, you put out this stupid little trailer, and then you put Brewster. Like, that would have done it for me. Yeah, Zach would have spilled coffee on his trousers. I don't know what you would have done. Yeah, that would have been good. I would have liked that. let's see. Questions in the chat. Let's see.
I do think it's interesting that they, it would kind of be out of nowhere and like there isn't really a tease for Brewster. I guess there wasn't really a tease for Pascal, so right? He wasn't. His little face was never featured.
No, that was more of like a thing that was rumored and then actually came up, like Dream Suites.
Yeah, and see, like this is what you got to look at. You're right. Dream Suites were in the data mine. The stuff about Pascal was in the data mine. About diving was in the data mine. The sea creatures were in the data mine. So like, I don't know. I don't know what percentage you're at this point, but I am at like a 99.7 that Brewster is next. I just don't see how it cannot happen.
I am at like a 65%.
Here's
the reason why, because
ditzing around with the code and having fun, goofing around.
When was Brewster put into data mines? Like, when's the first time that a cafe or Brewster?
We have seen Museum Shop and Museum Cafe all the way back since the beginning. But what I contest with that is it's only because the museum already existed, so they had to account for that in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a separate thing. The reason we saw it is because they had to have some parameters to, maybe to pre-space out the museum. But
it makes sense too.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's fall, You can go to Bath and Body Works and get your pumpkin latte candle, But like I was literally 95% sure that Cap'n was going to join in. Like summer, year 2 of a summer update. And that's why I'm kind of reserved on this. But
now you got the data mine.
Yeah. Pumpkin Spice the 5. I always say they should port Pocket Camp Fortune Cookies as paid DLC for like $3 to $5. I would pay so much.
That's the DLC that I don't understand why it's not in the game. You could put a gumball machine or a fortune cookie machine and have people spin it for $1 or $2, and you just rake in the cash. To me, it seems like there's something pure about Animal Crossing that they don't want to disrupt. And maybe that's just me, reading into it. But like that. Not the $20 expansion. That is their cash cow. An item gumball machine. Why that's not a thing? Like,
I think that to me anyway. I don't know how people perceive that, but I feel like that does more harm than good.
But let's ask the chat. If they had a 99-cent poll, and you would get a random
new item?
Let's say it's like the. Well, what are the fortune cookies? Just one? Like, what, is it just one item in the fortune cookie?
And you get a chance at getting the new update items. That's a slippery slope, man.
How many?
Your boy would be pulling all day.
Oh, yeah. Spending $1,000 on the Animal Crossing New Horizons gumball machine stream. I think I want to know if people would pull that $1. How many times are you pulling that a week? It's $1, man. You found it in your couch.
That's where it all starts, Zach. That's where all the gambling addicts start, man.
I'm looking
at $1. I feel like mobile game they could get away with it because the mobile market is trash. There's definitely some good games on the mobile market, but people are used to gambling and things like that. Man, you bring that over to New Horizons, and I feel like people get excluded out of all these new items. I would rather have there be like a $4.99 item drop. Sort of like, not really, but like akin to The Sims, where you have these optional packs that you can get.
Right.
That, to me, is better. But now you're introducing a lottery system. Not my Animal Crossing. I would say no to that. Zach's on board. Zach wants to pull some slots. Let's go to Vegas, man.
I want to know how much these cost in the game, okay? You can buy them with Leaf, 50 Leaf tickets. But how much are Leaf tickets?
And Kirsten brings up a good point. That would mean it's banned in the Netherlands. Laws against gambling. There's no way.
Okay, but what if you could acquire the currency for free? Because Leaf tickets can be acquired for free. You can pay for them, but you can also answer surveys, complete stretch goals.
If there was a way that you could buy lottery tickets with your Nook miles, then okay, we'll talk. If there was like a paid and Nook mile, because as far as I can tell, can you guys not manipulate Nook miles? I know Nook mile tickets, but like Nook miles, that would be the only thing.
Okay, so get this: it is $2.50 for 50 Leaf tickets. So it is $250 for a poll. And they're devious in Pocket Camp. It's 50 Leaf tickets for a poll, like a, spin the wheel. And you can buy Leaf tickets in 20 or 45. You can't buy 50. So you either have to get 60 Leaf tickets or like 90 Leaf. You can't get, even though it costs 50, there's 45. But you can't acquire them quite easily in the game. So that would be the thing. There is an option to just, you 1,000-hour players, you can, like you said, your Nook Miles or something.
Here's what you do.
The game becomes so much more fun to me if they do this.
Here's what you do. Zach is on his gambling high horse right now. Listen, you update Red, and you give Red's lottery a permanent spot in the game, okay? You go to Red, you spend 2,000 Nook Mile tickets for a lottery ticket, and you get a random item in your mailbox the next day. I think that's how it works.
Maybe Katrina's fortune items are the fortune cookie items.
That would be cool. But I feel like
and you have to pay her. She's like, give me your Nook Miles and I'll procure a magic cookie, or enter here to pay $250.
It's gonna be Red. Red is gonna be the mascot of this if they introduce this.
I know I'm weird, but I would love this.
Mm-hmm.
I in every video game, I wish there were items that you could only get at certain times. In every game, skins and items that were very locked down. I think that is exciting. I think that's fun. I think it brings people back. And I think it gives you that feeling like I was there. Pat, you and I played Firework Festival 2021, and we got the boba, and you can't get the boba again. I like that. Maybe it's not kind. Maybe it's not friendly. But I think that makes the game more exciting, and that brings people back. Because then all of a sudden when they do their Splatoon crossover and you can only get Splatoon items during the launch month of Splatoon, I'm playing Animal Crossing during the launch month of Splatoon. Man.
I don't know, Zach. That's a tough sell for parents.
Yeah,
and a lot of kids are playing this game.
But you can, as long as you can get it legitimately, I don't know.
And then these little kids, after watching, what cartoons do kids watch? SpongeBob? Is that still a thing? They watch their episode of SpongeBob. They turn on a Switch Force video, and here's Switch Force playing the lottery on their favorite game, and they're like, "Mom and Dad, Zach's doing it. He loves tea." So I don't know, man.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
It would be fun. I mean, I know I'm an anomaly. Maybe it's not great for the player base, but I think it'd be really fun. Like here's the real deal. Either you don't get this at all, or you get it and there's a paid element. Because they wouldn't do this just for the fun of it. Like that to me is the difference. You don't have to pay, but if it's added content, like you're not getting Splatoon items just because they want to be nice to you. So if that's the way, I don't know. That's how I think about it. I know it's not popular, but
yeah.
Y'all want more content. Y'all expect more content. I don't know.
I think it's crazy that people like still buy every pack in The Sims though.
And people buy every skin in Fortnite. They constantly are the battle pass, and so like this isn't like some, I don't know.
I think you come out with. I still think that if you buy it in Pocket Camp, it should transfer. It should transfer over, which is essentially the same thing that you're saying right now. But like mobile games hide it well, and like usually kids aren't playing mobile games. I feel.
Would you love it if you could pull to have a special campsite open up and there were special villagers that were only acquirable via a special currency?
It would
be so exciting. It would be so exciting.
It would be so exciting. Yeah.
Come on.
It'd be so exciting. I think the future is Pocket Camp item packs that are for sale on the eShop.
That would be great.
I'm going to go on a limb and say the next Animal Crossing is more similar to The Sims in terms of content. Because I feel like you have the audience now. If you release an Animal Crossing and you can get these people for microtransactions, do it. But
you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Just an option.
It's interesting to think about because I feel like Animal Crossing isn't the same Animal Crossing that we all know and love. It's more popular now. It's more mainstream. And, microtransactions for you and I like aren't the norm, but there's kids growing up with Fortnite and things like that. That's all they know.
You have to allow for this game to evolve, and it probably never will in our lifetime, just like Pokemon rarely ever evolves. That's the catch-22 to me. Maybe you don't want paid, and maybe that's taking it too far, but like either you want the game to change and evolve, or we're going to have this same conversation the next Animal Crossing. There's not room for both. And I think Nintendo subscribes to the philosophy that, hey, people want what they have always wanted, and we want to provide everybody's first Animal Crossing, everybody's first Pokemon. And so I don't think we will get a markedly different AC or a markedly different Pokemon, but I would love that. There's been 5 Animal Crossing games. The next one should be different. There's been 15 million Pokemon games. The next one should be different. And to me, it's sad that things can't improve. The fear is that if we make it new, old fans won't like it. But what if they make it new and they make it better? They created this idea of Animal Crossing back on the GameCube. I don't know. Well, on the N64 in Japan, right?
I'm curious to see like how many people like New Horizons is their first game, because like you can only cater to old school fans so much, right? You got to realize who your audience is.
But I think they have this like Nintendo nostalgia thing where like they have that formula, they love that formula, fans love that formula, and now we're gonna just, every generation gets that formula again. And we'll add terraforming.
Yeah.
What sequel returns the last game content as updates? Like, we don't have to go down this road, but think about any other franchise. What sequel returns the last game's content as your new updates?
I think we should probably end with this. If Animal Crossing
Pat.
New Horizons never got an update and everything that has been updated was included day one, would this have been would people still be playing it? I don't know. I feel like people's attention spans are bad, and a complete game that gets no new content, no new mentions, no hype, people don't go back to it. So we're living in a different time, I feel. So it needs to be updated. The game needs to be updated.
The good news is no matter what I say, Nintendo said free, so you're good.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing here. I mean, Nintendo has confirmed that it's going to be free. Yeah. I guess that's it. Zach is 99% sure, Brewster, and I'm 65%.
Yeah.
Okay. 99.7, and I'm 65%. So, guys, I don't know how you feel about Brewster. I feel like 2 Datamines back-to-back updating that cafe stuff has to be something. Yeah. Nintendo's teasing something. There's some space being created of things that they don't need to talk about anymore because October items are out, November items are out. It seems to me, if I'm putting all the pieces together, Animal Crossing is about to get a giant update. Or a more substantial update than what we're used to. I got to be careful with my words.
A more normal update? Maybe that's what we should, like an
update.
An actual update.
Yeah. So there's a lot of evidence surrounding this. Thank you guys so much. I just kind of want to point out this. This was episode 40, by the way.
Ooh.
So
it took a long time to get from 39 to 40, man.
Yeah. Listen, when Nintendo has news for us to talk about, we'll come on here and, blab away. But
we should definitely do a check-in sooner than 7-8 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 41 will come a lot sooner than 40 did. I promise you guys.
Awesome.
But interesting to talk about. Yeah, I think September is going to be the next update.
Agreed.
End of September. And hopefully we'll get some coffee by then. But thank you guys so much. Hearts in the chat, like always. And we will see you next time for episode